And welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. Here we go. Raf, welcome to the show here.
Hey,
Um,
hey, hey.
it's just the two of us today, but we're going to recap a lot of information. Raf, what do you think? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, Mike. It's been a while. We've had a little bit of a summer break, so we haven't done this on a regular basis. We've got a bunch of guests to come on the show in the near future. So, again, guys, welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. I'm really happy to be doing this. Mike, what a great introduction. Episode number 78. Can you believe it's been
Yeah,
78 episodes?
I can't. It's really gone by quickly, even though we've had kind of a few weeks off. But yeah, we're marching down 100. We will probably get there by the end of the year. Yeah, it's fantastic. Sort of jump in on you there, Raf. I was waving and screaming quietly here, trying to get your attention. So I had to steal the intro from you.
All
Um,
good, all good. You know what? It's we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and so we encourage everybody just to sign up, to send us some comments, send us some information. Check out our website, theGolfPodcast.live. Take a look at our previous episodes. There's lots of great content and some really cool guests, some really unique content and original content. So if you love golf and you love the topics at hand, give us a listen either on one of the platforms. We're on a lot of platforms. Probably one of your favorite platforms. We're there, but most notably, we're trying to grow the YouTube channel as well.
yeah, absolutely. Lots of content in the works for YouTube, matches and fun stuff. We're going to put a lot of effort into YouTube over the next few months to catch it up. But yeah, why don't we get into it, Graf? A lot of action here. Playoffs start this week, but let's not forget about the weekend. Like Lucas Glover coming in with another win. He's pretty hot lately. It was that how many wins in his last starts? He's got two wins in what is his last number of starts? Is he 2 for 2 or is it 2 for 4?
He's That's back to back, two wins
Yeah.
right now, and puts him into a great place, into a conversation for the Ryder Cup. Certainly, for a 43-year-old, I thought he was our age. Late 40s, early 50s. He's definitely an old soul. He's been around for a while. He's been playing since 2001. He's certainly a big guy. 6 foot two.
513 events, right? 6 wins. It's been a little
Yeah,
bit of a drought, but two wins back to back, and he's really making himself relevant for the cup.
yeah, I think so. Look, let's not forget he's won a major. He won the 2009 US Open.
Hmm.
That's a big W on anybody's resume. And so it's not like a name that came out of nowhere. Maybe for those who have just got into the game in the last few years, certainly he may not be noticeable. Brandel Chambly and a lot of people have been breaking down his stats over the last 10 years. And, it's surprising that he's like the worst putter on tour for the last 10 years. It's hard to believe, but everybody knows that he hits the ball really flush. I guess the problem was the putter. The putter was the big issue. What's gone viral recently, Mike, is all those videos of him actually missing 2 3 foot putts, almost missing the ball completely and hitting it off the
Yeah.
heel, right? He takes the club back, kind of wobbles, hits it off the heel. And it's sad. It's sad to see a player at his caliber go through that, but he found
Yeah.
something.
Well, he has, and look here. I got the PGA stats up, 160th in strokes gained putting. Um, Not who you expect to see in the top of a leaderboard at any given time, but
Yeah.
uh, golf is golf. You never know. You can when you catch fire and you run with it, and that's an example of the grind. He's 43 years old, and he's been persevering through it, and he's got two wins in a row going into the playoffs. Uh, Zach Johnson's got to have his eyes on him. You're
No,
right.
no
Like,
doubt. He's the Southern Carolina kid, right? He was a good player coming out of college, university. Certainly was a Walker Cup team member back in 2001, just before he turned pro. He's living in Florida now, like most of the guys in Tequista, Florida. but he's got 9 professional wins, 6 of which are on the PGA Tour. But again, those yips. Did you know, Mike? He's got that putter, and I think it's one of those lab putters.
Yeah.
And I just recently found out those are the exact specs that Adam Scott has on his putter. So there's a little fun fact.
That's interesting.
And then another fun fact would be that he went out to see if he could get himself a mental coach, but he didn't go the traditional route. He didn't get a sports psychologist or a golf psychologist like many of the players do. Many of the players working with, of course, the infamous Bob Rotella. But he went to go see, I don't know the gentleman's name. I didn't look it up exactly. I couldn't find anything, but he worked with a special ops or a black ops psychologist. And that's an interesting, it's more for, I guess, for mental toughness or discipline of sorts. So what do you think about that?
It shows here he was a Navy SEAL, and he helped him to overcome the yips. And I've been reading a book called Extreme Ownership, written by a couple Navy SEALs, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, and it all talks about mental toughness and leadership, and there's a lot of lessons that any of us could learn from a SEAL and what they go through, especially the SEALs that have gone into leadership and train other SEALs. These people are some of the most mentally tough in the planet, let alone physically tough. That's a whole nother side of it. But I mean, golfers can take heed from anything, that's going to give them an edge. Tiger trained with the Navy SEALs and arguably ruined his body to some degree, to going through some of the training and Hell Week and all the things Tiger did. But for Lucas to go and absorb some mental toughness training from a SEAL, it's obviously paying off well. Look at this. Like he's hot. He's going into the playoffs right now, coming off of this confidence. If he takes down one of these playoff events, he's got to be highly considered, if not guaranteed on the team. And if he's not on the team and they lose the Ryder Cup, Zach Johnson's going to have to answer for leaving a player who's this hot and experienced.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but it's hard to be a captain because, those 6 guys that you need to pick, and things have changed up for the Ryder Cup. I think it's a lot later now. It was usually after the PGA, they pick their team, but now with the FedEx Cup playoffs, they changed the timeline. They call it the Billy Horschel rule, where he got picked last minute. It's really interesting how that's all developed. And, his post conference talk that Lucas Glover had was really interesting, because they asked him, what do you think about getting on the Ryder Cup team? He goes, not until 15 minutes ago did I start thinking about that.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to get there. And I would like to. Like, he was confident that he would like to be on the team. And you need to be in that headspace and say that you want to be on the team, and that you're able to carry, the burden of the whole country. You're not playing for the PGA. You're playing for the flag. You're playing for pride, for national pride, for the game. And I think that's really interesting, Mike. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, as a player who's struggling and he's never quite earned the points to be a consideration, right? So, but now we'll have to look where he is in the point list, but he's in the discussion for the first time, arguably, in his career. And how could you not want to be there as a patriot and an American? How can you, or wherever team internationally as Canadians playing for the President's Cup, how could you not want to be there representing your flag? It's not about the money, it's about pride. You want to be there. You want to feel it. You want to play for your teammates. So I would think he is even more gung-ho to keep his performance going and make it. Imagine being that close, and we've all been that close to something in our life, whatever it is, whether it's business-wise or a personal sport goal or whatever it is. We've all been so close to something.
Yeah.
that the excitement's there, the drive's there to want to get it, whether you make it or not. At least you've made the consideration. So I got to think he is heavily considering his ability to play for the Ryder Cup team.
And just everybody who was on his tail, during that last event. I mean, think about, playing in Memphis, and you've got everyone from Jordan Spieth to Patrick Cantlay in that playoff hole. Traditionally, Patrick's game always came about around fall time, and he's won two out of the three FedEx playoff events. This would have kind of topped it off, but see, you just couldn't close. Cantlay put it in the water on that first playoff hole, picking up that 3-wood. He might have been a little bit cold, not physically, because they were in sweltering heat and sweating.
Look at this picture of Lucas here. He's like soaking wet. And
do you have that pic I sent you? That one's pretty good. But if anybody's watched the event, or if you look at photos, he was completely soaked. I was surprised that he didn't change before he went out on the playoff hole. I don't know if he had enough time or what have you.
You probably don't have enough time to go and run back to the locker room. But quick. It's I did see that picture. He was soaked to the bone. So what can you do when it's that humid?
Have you ever played like that, Mike? I've been to the Caribbean. I worked there as a golf instructor for a summer, and I got a chance to travel in the summertime in the Caribbean. And I remember being in Barbados and playing Sandy Lane. And after playing 9 holes, I would come back inside, full change, shower, full change, go out for another 9, because I'd be wet. I'd be so soaked.
I've never done that. I have played where I've been soaked by sweat, and the opposite side of that spectrum, we're soaked in the rain out here in the West Coast. And there was one event that stands out. Well, there's many that were terrible, but one in particular, it was sort of that very fine rain. It's coming. It's thick and misty, and basically got to the point around the somewhere in the back 9. My jacket was so heavy, even though I was dry. It was waterproof, but the outside layer of the jacket was holding so much water. It was heavy that I could barely swing. I had to take it off to swing and just continue to get soaked. And it's slightly different element because it's cold and wet, where these guys are sweating their tails off in the heat, and it's uncomfortable because people who don't understand, they may not realize they're dealing with chafing problems. So they've probably got Vaseline on and in between their legs and their butt crack, if you will. It's like all the things wonderful. That we deal with as we get older. But it's reality. And anyone who's been out in the course and has been chafing, it is some it's some very uncomfortable pain. So
I've been to Tennessee in the summer. I've been to Nashville, and it is hot. Like the heat, it's sort of like the blistering heat that we get here in Canada in July. In addition, just mount up the humidity, like way above anything that we experience. Even here on the East Coast in Toronto, Montreal, we get a lot of humidity, but it's a whole different type of heat and humidity altogether. That being said, it's a pretty good, next to Michael Block this year as a story, Mike. This is a pretty feel-good story. Him being the oldest golfer in the field, overcoming the yips. Do you have that graphic with the list of players for making it to the Ryder Cup?
I do.
Well,
here's the list.
And so
let's find him first.
Let me just give him a little bit more notoriety. Yeah, let's find him.
I'll find him. You give him the notoriety.
Yeah, so T20 at the Masters in 2007, best finish. U.S. Open winner, I mentioned that before. 5th at the PGA Championship. I don't remember what year that was. And then there was he did have a top 15. I think it was T12 or a T something, under 15 at the Open Championship. Yeah, at the Open Championship. Also late 2000s. But that's pretty amazing. And it's a really great, feel-good story. Think about how many putters he's going to sell. It was just a couple of putters this year with Ricky Fowler playing well this year. Everybody picking up those putters, and now with this lab putter, the Mez 1 Max,
You really
I
think
finally
people are
kind
going to
of
be buying this broomstick? They very some may, but I'm not running
if
out to get
guys,
one.
if they have no hope, but like you think about it, if you're putting so bad and you're looking for anything to help you out, then why not get the same putter Adam
Hey,
Scott and Lucas Glover's using?
I played 27 holes yesterday, and I couldn't putt through the door of an airplane hangar. It was unbelievable. So maybe I should shut my mouth and get one. But here he is. He's 16th on the Ryder Cup list, right? So you can
Is he
see the
16th
top.
now?
Yeah,
I
he's
thought he was further
actually.
down. He's up there.
I
He that
thought
was
so too.
that's a quick
Uh,
pop. I thought he was 25th or something. Okay.
like Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon, Brooks Koepka, and Max Homa are on the team. Even the live player
Okay.
is on the team right now. So,
Here's my
um,
question, Mike. Mike, this is my question for you. Look at that list. Take your time. No rush here. You pick your next. So you're the captain. It's Michael Bleakley, captain of the U.S. team, not Zach Johnson. Who are your six? This is one of the most, some of them are easy, but the last two are going to be difficult. And,
yeah.
if you have a little bit of a why, then you could say so. But you just mention who you think.
Well, I like Cameron Young right now in Morikawa. Good ball
Okay.
strikers. I would take them. Schauffele and Spieth, I think I can live with. Um, I would pick Glover because he is hot right now. And then
You
the
and I are
next
both
one,
players, and it has a
yeah,
lot to do with having momentum and being able to play well now. I don't
yeah,
care if you have an amazing record 6 months ago, or even 5 months ago. It's, what are you doing now?
it's who's
I
hot
want you.
now. And I might even consider Taylor Gooch off the live
Hmm,
tour because he's won what 3 or 4 times in the last handful of starts. He's one of the contenders for the year-long race there.
okay.
So just to like rock the boat, I would add Taylor as my six. So to recap:
Okay.
Lucas Glover, Taylor, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Cameron Young, and Colin Morikawa. I would leave
No,
off
no
Bradley.
JT. No JT.
That's a tough one.
He's got
He
a great
missed the
record, good
playoffs.
experience.
He does, but he's not going to be playing much professional golf for the next few weeks. He's out of the playoffs.
That's
So
right. He didn't
what's he
make the
going to do?
top 70.
What's he going to do?
Finished.
So he took to, had he made the playoffs and then at least was hot through
Mm,
this month. But I think let him have the summer off and get that fire going so he comes back next year hungry because he probably needed to taste some misery for a little while. And that pretty wild finish last week, nearly chipped in to get inside 70.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'll stand by that. I'll leave him off the team. So what do you think?
I agree. I don't think he's playing well. I don't even think he wants to be on the team. I think maybe somewhere in the back of his mind, but if he's playing the way he's playing, how can he carry the team or feel confident enough to play for his team? Obviously, he's got the golf in him and he's able to shoot low, and he's a major winner, yada yada yada. He's played. He's got a pretty good record. I think he might have went 5-0 on the
Yeah,
last. He did pretty good, and he pairs up well with the boys. Like he's also good friends with Spieth, so he would
yeah,
make good partners. But
he could play with
the same
anybody.
thing could be said with Ricky Fowler, though. Ricky Fowler's really tight with Spieth. I think that's going to make a good team. I think they're
Yeah,
going to play together. So Fowler is my first pick. Certainly Jordan Spieth, Fowler. Um, it's hard. Lucas Glover. So those are the three. The other three, I have no idea. I tell you honestly, outside of those three, I do not know how
hmm
to pick these guys. If we go down the list, if you could scroll up a little bit, uh, yeah. Again, really hard. The only guy I would maybe put for sure, because Finau is there. I'm glad you got your arrow on that, because
yeah.
Finau is someone I was thinking about. But outside of, but he's still a question mark. It's so
You,
hard for me.
you never know with Fino.
I can't answer this question very well.
He'll come out like the best player in the world, and then 1 week, and he'll be totally different the next. So on a Ryder Cup level, I'm not sure, but you never know. He could be picked and be an absolute hero. So you just never know what you're going to get with Finau.
If you look at the previous team, I mean, we're going to be missing, Bryson, that stellar team they had in the last Ryder Cup with Bryson and Dustin Johnson. It was,
And both
it
those
was.
guys are big considerations for the team. Like Bryson just coming off of 58.
Where's Mickelson on this list? Is he in the top 40? That's pretty funny. Obviously, he would never make the team. But certainly this might be a good segue to talk about Phil Mickelson and
he's
his recent
36th.
quotes.
He's actually not that far down the list.
He's
As
not
I
that
thought it
far
might be
down, but
further, but he's never obviously.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a shame that he's not even going to be picked for like an assistant captain or something, because
right.
Just everything that's transpired, and some people have just quickly jumped on the bandwagon to cast him as golf's villain, right, because of the LIV scenario. But it's something. It's just for him not to even be there. I think it is not right. Zach Johnson's been very outspoken with the LIV scenario and these players, so it'd be hard to put one of them in the room. Like Brooks Koepka's on the team at the moment, so how's that energy going to land in the players' room when he's there? It'll probably be fine for the most part. But there are a few players out there that were quite outspoken about their decision. So are they going to welcome them in a team room, or if they got paired together on a 4-ball with Brooks, how's that energy going to be received? So, but Brooks has had a great year. There's a lot of players over at LIV that have been crushing it who aren't going to be part of the discussion. At least for a team, they'll be part of the discussion probably for why they're not there. But golf's in a messed up place right now, so it'll course correct in time. But for now, this is a tough decision for Zach Johnson. So do you stand by your guns and all the shit talking that happened over the last year about the LIV, and then you suck it up and you invite another LIV player onto the team? Like I said, Gooch, DeChambeau, DJ, all these guys are formidable.
Yeah, but
opponents.
they didn't play enough to go into the ranking system, so it's hard to include them, because if there is a system in place where that's how things are decided. Now, the Ryder Cup decision-making system in Europe is very different. Yeah, it's very different. If you could flip over to the European, do we have the European Tour ranking? Yeah, so it's really different, and the names are all over the place, but it's much easier to see automatically. I think Robert McIntyre, John Rahm, and Rory McIlroy go in with the DP World Ranking points, the top 3, and then you've got a whole bunch of other guys. The ones that we know that play out here is obviously Fleetwood and Lowry and Hatton. Those are the ones that stand out. Them playing, stateside or playing on the PGA Tour a lot more.
You got 5th, your Adrian Meronk.
Yeah, you got Adrian Meronk, who's been playing stellar. He won the Irish Open. He won the Australian Open. He won the Portuguese Open on the Challenge Tour.
Yeah. He's first professional golfer out of Poland to have this type of success. So, which is great. Tommy Fleetwood, I've always been a fan. And Victor Perez. You got some lesser known players here, like the diehards know who Victor Perez and Rasmus Højgaard is, and Adrian
Yannick Paul,
Shane Lowry's major winner. Tyrrell Hatton, one of my favorites too, because I love that he's just angry, and he's got some great expressions on the course. It's great.
Yeah, if we scroll down, I think there's more
Victor
notables
Hovland
there.
15,
with Hovland there, he'll be a captain's pick. I don't see how Victor Hovland, too much international experience altogether. So he's even though being on 15, he's going to be on the team. And the same for someone like Alex Noren, probably. So we'll see how it all works out.
Here's
I
Matt
don't really.
Fitzpatrick. He's
Yeah,
26, right?
yeah, it's
He's
hard to
he's
not pick
cooled off since
Fitzpatrick.
his win last year, but
Yeah,
again, he's a major winner, and those are some tough choices over there. And like the U.S. team, there's a bunch of players on LIV who might complement the team. Like you throw Poulter out there for discussion because he's always been
ah,
he has a whole different gear for the Ryder Cup. But is he too old now? Is he still good?
yeah.
Would he even be effective on the team? But maybe not
Well,
as
he's
a
keeping his
player.
game
But
sharp, right? He's playing.
he's sharp and he's playing it, and match play brings out that ability to level up and play at a different level. And I experience it as an amateur, but we've seen the Poulter effect land in the Ryder Cup where he just gets possessed by the devil, and he
Yeah.
just plays it outside of his body, and it's
I think you
amazing.
and I we're a little bit nostalgic over the fact we remember all the Ryder Cups, but think, he's a little older. You
He
got to let
is.
the young guys in. He's been in 7 Ryder Cups. He's got a
Yeah,
record of 15, 8, and 2. I'm
I
looking at
can
it
see
right
him
now.
not being a player, but him not being there in the dressing room as an assistant captain,
Yeah, right,
right, you know what I
right.
mean? Because
Good point.
he can pass along his experience, and some of the younger players. There's a lot of players. If you just went on the top 12 here, there's a handful of players here that a lot of people have never heard of.
Yeah,
Like Jordan Smith, for like, unless you're a diehard golf
yeah.
fan, like you don't, a lot of people don't know who these guys are.
Well, Ian
Uh,
Poulter, in addition to what you're saying, Mike, has never lost in singles.
mhm.
And that's been the downfall for the Ryder Cup team over the years, is the last day singles. That's where the Americans really thrived and really showed their true colors as
Yeah,
individuals. In the team games, not so much, but so him having that record really shows something.
yeah.
I mean, Sergio Garcia is not up for thoughts either, but all these guys have experience and should be part of the team in some shape or form, right?
Poulter and Sergio should be there in the locker room, right?
Yeah,
There's just so much experience. They've played in so many events. So I think it's a negative that they're not even going to be there. So maybe
I'm sure
this
Molinari
place.
could get them going.
Oh
Come
yeah,
on, guys, you have to do really good. You can do it.
yeah.
He's pretty
There's a.
monotone.
I'm gonna pull up. You just made me think about it. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull up an old clip from Molinari and Fleetwood. I've got it on our
Right.
Instagram channel, and it is just such a great moment from the last Ryder Cup. Um, but yeah,
All right.
these
Why don't you put?
guys not being there.
Yeah, and one of the topics we should talk about is Stephen Ames today. Also, maybe a little recap on Nick Taylor on his big Canadian Open win and what that meant to him and how that's sunk in. But go ahead, you have it queued up.
I'm almost there, and
Yeah, so
let's
Stephen
try
Ames
this.
wins the Boeing Classic in tremendous fashion. Mike, do you realize he finished the tournament? I think it was from the 14th hole to the 18th hole. It was birdie, 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 eagle.
Yeah,
That second shot that he did, that 242-yard, 3-wood or 5-wood he hit, was just incredible. So
yeah.
you got something queued up
I've
now?
got the clip here, and I'm going to try playing it. I'm not sure if the audio is going to work here, but here it goes.
Yeah, the audio's not going on. Oh, is that when they were chanting for the Europeans?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
chanting after. Like, look at the energy in this room.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's a different kind of vibe, and I certainly. What else do you? You
Yeah,
have someone there getting tackled. I wonder who that is.
yeah, that is Adam getting tackled. So yeah, let's cut over to Nick Taylor, um, and the Canadian Open, and then we'll
Yeah.
jump
So,
in. So where is he here? Nick Taylor. We're getting a bit out of order here, but that
oh,
was a
that's all
great
right. You know
moment.
what?
Great
We
moment
just
for
want.
Canadian golf history.
I heard a fantastic story this weekend about Nick Taylor. He was interviewed by Balionis after, before one of the rounds, and they were talking about his experience. He left Oakdale Golf and Country Club around 11 p.m. at night. He was dead tired. They went through the McDonald's drive-through, and all of a sudden he got a call from Wayne Gretzky. So he had to back out of the drive-through, take the call, right? And obviously you would back up from that. So that was a pretty interesting and fun story to hear. There was another one where Tim Hortons sent him 72 feet of Timbits. Tim Hortons Timbits. So there's 541 Timbits he got from them for his 72-foot putt that had him win the Open. And I guess he's obviously starting to feel the magnitude of what he's accomplished, right? In the title that's right in front of me that you pulled up, Nick Taylor wins RBC Canadian Open, first Canadian champion since 1954. Pat Fletcher obviously winning that event back then. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It was an amazing moment, right? It's so dramatic to make that putt from a mile away. No one expects you to make that putt. If you got it to 2 feet, it would be amazing, and he drains it. So just an epic moment for Canadian golf. Every Canadian golfer was tuned in on that, and Hadwin getting, arguably stealing the show, with that tackle from the security guard, right? It just adds to the moment and the chaos and the excitement that everyone was experiencing there. What would have been amazing to be there live, just to watch that all unfold and absorb that moment in.
Let's not forget this is the third oldest national open in the world after the British and the US Open. It has a tremendous amount of significance in the world of golf altogether. Mm-hmm. It's in a better place on the schedule. I believe it's going to be the last week of May over at Hamilton Golf and Country Club next year, which is really nice the way it fits inside the schedule. It's not squashed between anything. I remember briefly looking at the schedule. It looks really good. It's in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, the last couple of years it's been better. So looking forward to seeing how next year transpires. But it's great because we've had a terrible place in the schedule for many years, and it is an easy event to get overlooked. It's getting a lot of respect from the players. We're getting a better field the last few years. So it's fantastic.
Let's speaking of Canadians, let's bump over to our Trinidadian Canadian, Stephen Ames. Stephen Ames wins the Boeing Classic. Mm-hmm. in a crazy fashion, and closes with an eagle, birdie eagle finish, which is incredible. It's his fourth win this year. He's celebrating it with his family. There's a whole bunch of videos out with him talking. It's nice that he's becoming a little bit more vocal, and they got a pretty cool trophy. When you think of trophies, Boeing's got that sort of like world crystal ball that they have. It's pretty neat. It's it looks like it's the size of I don't know, smaller than a basketball, but it's a really neat trophy. But he had an incredible second shot on that par 5, 224 yards, par 5, 18th, where he just landed it right near the hole and obviously made the putt. What a great way to finish. Not only to finish that way, but at 9 under, I think it's a 7-shot lead, if I'm not wrong about that. I think it's a ridiculous win as far as his lead out on that tournament. I don't know if we could
matched the tournament record of 19 under.
Yeah.
Just double check. I played 2 rounds of golf yesterday, so I didn't see all of what happened.
Again, so wait a minute, from 14 to 18, that's 5 holes actually. So he did 4 birdies and an eagle to win.
Yeah.
4 birdies and an eagle, which is, I don't know how much better can it get. Boeing is really unique in the fact that they have the new Boeing planes fly over the golf course. They had the 737-10 go over there. It's pretty neat to see that.
Really
that
neat
kind
to
of
watch. It is fun.
It's all part of their military appreciation thing.
In Boo Weekly first event on the senior tour too. He didn't have a good go. 75, 73,
was he
78.
like 7 or 8 over? Yeah.
Yeah. He had a tough go, but hopefully we see more out of him. He was a bit of one of golf's characters. He's been known for playing golf just so he could fish. He just wanted to make enough money so he could fish for the rest of his life. So it's great to see him out in the senior tour. So it should be fun to watch.
Yeah, I remember when he went out to the British Open and he said, "How does it feel to be at the home of golf?" This is the home of golf. I thought the home of golf was back in Arkansas. And he had to, I don't know if my
Yeah,
accent's very good, but
no, that
that's
was
the best I
terrible.
could do.
So let's cut over to Cam Smith.
Oh boy.
Takes down another $4 million win and is looking down at an $18 million season-long prize. He's got a few. Taylor Gooch has got a few out there. Yeah, we'll see how this finishes up for the LIV Golf in Miami. It's gonna be a few guys going for the season-long stuff, and I don't even know where all the teams are at. But last year's finale was it was pretty fun to watch. So we'll see how it goes, and the future's in uncertainty for LIV. Everyone's wondering if it's going to be folded, what's going to happen. No one really knows. Greg Norman indicates that it's not going anywhere, and the players don't seem to indicate they want to play back on the PGA Tour. They're still
I
angry.
don't
So
know if any of that's true. I
who
think there's
knows?
been a big bounce back, especially with, Phil Mickelson and all his quotes that he's been giving. Um, Cam Smith, celebrating and talking about how much he likes to play. All the guys saying that they don't want to return to the PGA Tour. They're
Hmm.
being very vocal about that, whereas the media and people within the PGA are saying that they want to leave and come back. When none of that is true. When the players actually do get asked, um, you know. But the team is his team Ripper GC or is it Stingers? I forget. Who does he play for? I'm still getting used to all the names. I think it's the Rippers, right?
I
I
wouldn't
don't
bet
know. It's
on
the
it.
Stingers. I think it's the
I think it's
Stingers.
the Stingers.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bet too much on it right now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just trying to catch it.
No, it's Rippers. You know what? It is Rippers. It's the Ripper GCs. Um,
It's yeah, the
Everything
team
is so
thing's
new
so
with the.
new. Yeah, it'll take time for that. If it
It's
even,
mostly an Australian team. They're all doing
yeah,
shoeies and uh, shaking up the champagne and spraying it all over the place with the music and the fireworks and everything else. It seems a little bit more exciting for a finish and a finale to be able to celebrate a finalist and a runner up, and then there's the
yeah,
team aspect to it. It's exciting to watch.
yeah. The one event I went to in Oregon last year, Pumpkin Ridge, the wrap up was a little more fun than normal, right? I've been to a bunch of PGA events, and yeah, they give the trophy out on the 18th green, but they made a bigger deal out of it. It was pretty fun. They're obviously mimicking F1 a little bit with the champagne, and but they, part of your entry fee gets you into a concert. So there are a lot of people stuck around and enjoyed the concert after the golf, and um, I think they can get away with that shotgun format because people aren't there for 10 hours watching like the start to finish of a golf. It's a long day watching a
Well, there,
Sunday golf tournament.
but
So
it's nice when you go to an event, you know when it starts and finishes, right?
yeah,
Basically, for a sporting or a concert or any type of
yeah,
entertainment event. So it's nice to know when it starts and finishes. People were very quick to judge the shotgun start and compare it to, corporate golf and not real golf, but
yeah.
it does make sense.
Well,
It really does make sense where
I
everybody
was
starts and
skeptical
finishes.
on that.
Everybody's been complaining about the fact that, oh, you got the bad side of the draw where, you go out early morning or late afternoon, whereas everybody's out at the same
Yeah,
time. So
there
it eliminates that.
that's a good argument, and like I watched it. I was there for the whole week in Oregon, and I was skeptical about the shotgun start, but the way they did it, everyone started on randomly on the first day, and then second day the leaders go off of 1 and 2, and the third day was the same thing. the leaders on one, two groups went off of one, the next groups that were close went off of two, so they were all within range of each other, and the
Yeah.
rest of the pack was spread out. The way I noticed it, I believe from 14 to 18 were empty. Nobody was on those holes. So, but the people in contention were clustered together and they finished together. So it ended up creating a great amphitheater at the end. A lot of the players were all there to watch each other come in, and yeah, it finished very well. Like, anyone who had a shot was close by. They weren't just randomly finished and 3 hours later the rest of the gang came in. So it worked pretty well. We'll see if they hold on to that. I think for the show,
you know what, they're trying to make a deal with the PGA Tour. They got a framework out. It might all come together in some shape or form with the team play and the leagues, and there being now a actual season, not a wraparound season for the PGA Tour. It gives it a little bit of extra time where there's maybe an extra league or series going on in the off season. I'm going to throw out the names of the places so we could remember the names of these teams, because I feel awful. Like we're trying to follow all these teams: Aces, Torques, Stingers, Crushers, Range Rats. Oh,
Range Goats.
Not Range Rat, Range Goats. Ranger, did I say? I can't believe I said Range Rat. See, that's what happens. I don't have my glasses on. I can't believe I said that. Fireballs, Rippers, Smash, High Flyers, Majestics, Ironheads, and the Cliques.
The Cliques
so
has got to be one of the stupidest naame. Yeah. I mean, I like the concept, and we've talked about it.
I love it.
Having home clubs and all.
That's the part they haven't really fit in, right? Yeah.
No, not yet. But I think that there's something there, and they can build on it. So yeah, I mean, each team is its own entity, its own corporate entity. One of the teams was sporting all their new bags and everything this last week. And
once they got the whole concept together, whether they do it on the PGA Tour or on LIV, where they actually have the stadium is the actual golf course, that's the organization, and it's run like a really real league team with ownership. And this is already happening on the PGA Tour side behind closed doors for a league style of system. Tiger Woods is involved with all of this, and Rory and many other players, except many people aren't talking about it yet because it isn't 100%, but there have been contracts already signed for cities, locations, teams, and that's great for merchandising and having apparel and fans, and people come out to a location where they could cheer for their actual team. And golf it's a hard thing to market. Right?
Yeah.
To me, it needs to be like 9-hole match play elimination, 2v2 type of style stuff to make it like marketable on streaming and TV wise.
Yeah, because it's long. Like having someone tune in for 4 hours of a match is a long time. But yeah, if it's shorter, and you could do more, you have multiple matches through a day, you could move through brackets faster. So we'll see how it all transpires.
Yeah, with a point system. I mean, if you have like 8 matches out there going on at once, 2v2 style, or 1 versus 1, and then you get 1 point, then there's a point system at the end. It was 4-2 for the Stingers over the PGA Tour Wildcats.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Right. It's there's more coming. Right. So they're very secretive. Tiger Woods is on the board now, the player policy. He's the 6th board director, so that gives them a little bit more say. So let's see. They're talking a lot. Like Tiger and Rory have their Monday night league coming up. So what's that going to look like? The LIV versus PGA Tour battle probably would get a lot of eyeballs on it, because it's such a hot topic right now, and there's enough good players out there that they could put 12 versus 12 in some sort of team format. Maybe that's done in December during the silly season or something.
You don't have to play all of them. It'd be like an 8-on-8 or 6-on-6 or something like that, where you have all the other guys on standby. Some of them are benched. They might not play. And if there's injury, there's always room. You can't have the full team of 12 unless you have a team of, let's say, 4 guys on the reserve. So it's a team of 16, but you have 12 that go out. But you need those extra players in case, sickness, injury, You got to bench players and put
Yeah.
other guys out there. But yeah, it's going to be wild. Golf is evolving. It's become so popular. I'm excited to be part of this game. Mike, I'm glad to be sharing this with you. If you guys like what you're listening to or what you're watching, come on, show us some support. You can go onto our website. You could go on to one of our social media platforms, show a like, make a comment. Again, good or bad, we're not going to get offended.
Yeah. Give us an
Constructive
engagement.
criticism is good.
Rip us
Engagement's always
apart.
great.
Yeah. Make fun of us online. That's cool. Just hit subscribe when you do so. That would be great.
We would love to, upgrade our production value with graphics and guests and on-course content. That will happen in time.
We are through this fall. We're aiming to build up the production value, and we will. Like we promised to do one a week, and we're pretty good for that. We each took a bit of a break through the summer here, and we're gearing up. More guests coming. We've got some great guests in the pipeline, and some fun content, and there's a lot more. But why don't we haven't talked about Phil yet. He's been he got another book coming out. Tell all about Phil. Everyone's just jumping on the bandwagon to roast Phil, but he's pushing. He's almost a billionaire. He's getting roasted for bets he's made.
He's in the best shape of his life next to his college years. He looks great. He seems all right. He's gone through hell and back. He's been admitted to a gambling problem. A lot of people are roasting him for that. Phil's being Phil. He's being himself. And I think we're not giving people an opportunity to be themselves. We're really quick to criticize. Social media is very easy to criticize somebody, not to talk in front of their face, to give very harsh opinions on people that you don't know personally. I think the golf industry was really harsh with him going through everything. They were supportive for 25 plus years of his career, and all the positive endeavors all the charitable endeavors that he undertook. How he helped grow the tour. He wasn't the easiest person to talk to in the media room, but that is no reason to completely throw his life and career and his accomplishments under the bus. I mean, Tiger Woods equally made a lot of mistakes in life, and we were easy to forgive him because he was, the pride of America and U.S. golf, and still is. And so we were able to move on and move forward. And Phil Mickelson's a whole topic in itself. We were going to get Bob Golf on today, but things did not work out. We are in talks with him. He obviously is a great individual who knows quite a bit about the game of golf. He's not only a golf commentator and a journalist, but he's a fan of LIV and the PGA Tour. He knows a little bit about the law, if I do say so myself.
Good.
Phil Mickelson's reposted some of his breakdowns. Really interesting on how he broke down the whole framework and the institution of the PGA Tour.
Right. Well, yeah, I read some of that post, and very interesting. So I'm looking forward to getting him scheduled on. But here's what Phil said a couple days ago, August 10th. I've never bet on the Ryder Cup. While it is well known that I always enjoy a friendly wager on the course, I would never undermine the integrity of the game. I've also been very open about my gambling addiction. I've previously conveyed my remorse, took responsibility, have gotten help, have been fully committed to therapy, and that has positively impacted me, and I feel good about where I am now. So Phil is hanging it out there. He's not shy about having a gambling problem. And many people have gambling problems or other problems, and he's good on him for talking about it.
There's a lot that goes with that. A gambling problem comes with other issues, be it mental health issues, family, personal issues. Not everything is exposed. So he's dealing with a lot. And what he's gone through in the last 2 years, be it his fault or not, nobody's perfect. Everyone
Yeah.
makes mistakes. And so, to keep things light, the guy needs, you know what? He's transparent, he's open, and I respect that. At least he speaks his mind in the public forum where everybody else hides behind, this kind of tribalism that happens on social media, where if you don't follow exactly what the top people in the game talk about and believe in, then you're an outcast.
And Phil, I love that, the fact that he pushes back. You see him comment on some of his trolls, whether it's somebody from the press or whatnot, who want to cast judgment on him. And like, I'm sorry, but none of us have the right to cast any judgment, because we all have our own none of us are perfect, in our own
opinions
ways.
are cool. Opinions are cool, but you make sure that you're writing an opinion piece, right? You're not writing based out of sheer emotion, which most of the golf industry does.
If
There's
you're
very
going to be,
few. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Like the keyboard commandos, who need to pass judgment and from their basement pedestal, just need to shut up, because it's really, what are you accomplishing by trolling an athlete or a stranger for that matter, right? It's like,
it's all
your
very
own anger.
toxic when you don't know enough, but there's a fine line between having an opinion and then being kind of really negatively destructive towards a person that you don't know.
Well, you get it. We've got it. We've had a few people on Twitter rip us for no reason, whatsoever.
That's okay.
And they're fake accounts. Usually, it's somebody who's got an anonymous account, and that's what they do, is they get off on stirring the shit. And there's a lot of people that do that, and that's part of the platforms, unfortunately. And then it's going to happen. So anyone who sticks their neck out there online, no matter what it is, even if it's just someone on Instagram, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? You stick your neck out there, you put a piece of content out there, you're subject to some scrutiny from the anonymous. So
look, Mike,
you got to ignore it.
We started this cast from scratch. We don't have any money. We haven't made any money doing this. We do this out of the sheer passion of loving the game, playing the game since we were kids. We're both nearly 50 years old. We don't need to do this. We do this out of sheer passion of the game. And, hopefully it develops into something wonderful, right? Where we're going to be able to do the production value that we enjoy and want, and find some sponsors to do this. So, we could
in
be
many ways, it is
wonderful
wonderful already, right? It has been wonderful already, because we've met some great people. We learned a ton, and pushing yourself. I've never been the one to be on camera. I hate having my picture taken. So to get out here and just, talk endlessly about golf with analysts and PGA players and Champions Tour players, who the people we've had on, and you, of course. So the fact that we do that, it's pushes us out of our comfort zone. So like, I recommend everybody try something. If you're scared of it, do it. If you're scared to stand in front of a room of people and talk, do it, because it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. So the other night we had a talent contest at our Friday night event. So we had a few thousand people down there. We had 30 bands, celebrity judge Carrie Adams from the CTV News. It's at the Shipyards night market in the Shipyards district in North Vancouver.
Right.
It's a free event every Friday. We get between 6,000 to 8,000 people coming each Friday night. It's a concert. The beer garden, food carts, and we actually sponsor the events. We're one of the sponsors, the Golf Podcast Live. So we're giveaway merch, but this last week was fantastic. Had Dave Bowman from the former band Soul Decision, and his CTV news anchor, and the three of us were judging the competition, and it was a lot of fun. But my point was, there was thousands of people. We had to get up and stage, give away the prize, and you got to get over it. Most people were more scared of public speaking than death or going to a funeral, right? So, but it's actually not that bad once you get it. If you're prepared, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I think we're going to wrap it up. It's nearly 5 p.m. On the Eastern time. I guess that's 2 p.m. your time. if you've been watching, if you've gone through this whole podcast and you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening
Yes.
to us. Share and like. Hopefully, we'll see you guys very soon. And Mike, do you want to wrap it up and let people know where they could?
Yes, please. We're on YouTube right now, and as of tomorrow, this will be posted on all the major pod platforms. So share it, like it, follow it, subscribe, just engage with it. Any like is appreciated. It goes a long way.
Hey, guys, don't forget we have some merch as well. You could go on our website and get some merch and support us that way.
Yeah.
So that's available as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff from cups to shirts to caps and whatnot.
Yeah, and new merch coming through the fall here. Lots of changes. So